This is Poppy. I am going to attempt to replace the bulb that's burned out in this 2001 Infiniti i30. I've never done this before. I just read some instructions online, but I know the bulb is burned out here on the analog clock, and I'm going to replace it with an LED light to see how that works out. So I'm attempting to take this out, and I'm just going to show you the procedure by which I do this. Again, this is a 2001 i30 Infiniti. So I pried out this area. I began taking the bottom off and prying it out from the sides, being careful to use a rag on the screwdriver so I can not scratch the plastic too badly. And it popped out fairly easy from the bottom here, and then I grabbed the other side and it comes right out. So now we're going to see what happens here. Okay, that seems easy enough. Now, I guess I could disconnect that and get that out of the way, which I'm going to do right now. So I disconnected the vent system to the hazard light, actually. And I just have a little clip here that you have to push in order to release it. I had to push that in with a screwdriver and pull pretty hard. And it looks like this top area is connected with these two bolts here. Looks like they have Phillips head on them, and also looks like a 10mm right there. So I'm going to take these two off and see about taking this panel off to release the clock. So I took the two screws out, and it looks like it has a little detent here that you have to raise this piece of plastic over that holds it in place on both sides. So once you do that, it should come right up. Yeah, and the back just pops out from those clips, so no big deal. So now I've got this off, and I can access these two lights in the back of the clock, which is excellent. So now we're going to take these two pieces out here to replace the bulbs. Okay, so I've pulled out the light bulbs from these slots here, the holders anyway, and there's two of them, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. Okay, so these are just leads, wires, and it goes through the bottom and then wraps around the bottom and hooks on to keep the bulb from falling out. So it goes through the middle right there, and then comes out the side and then wraps around. You can see it on this side where it's wrapped around the top there, and then it just comes over. So I'm going to undo both of these bulbs, insert my new bulbs, and we'll be in business. Alright, I'm back. I finally ordered the proper LEDs. The ones I had didn't work, so I got these LEDs here. Part Sam, and they are 12-volt LEDs. You see there are 30 of them. I got the blue ones, and I took the other old light out. They fit in this slot very nicely. They just fit right down in there, and the wires come out the back, as you can see there, and you just wind them around, one on each side. Now, one of these leads is positive. The longer leg is positive and one of them is negative. I don't know which one is which when I stick it in here, so I'm going to try it both ways to make sure they come on before I put everything together. So I'm just going to hook it up and see what happens here. So as you can see, I did get them in there, and I just hooked this up with nothing attached so I could see if the lights would work. And I guess I lucked out and I got it right the first time. As you can see, both LEDs are lit, and both of the LEDs are working, and it is lit. So this should shine up in the nighttime now, no problem, and it should never burn out again. LEDs are supposed to last a really long time. So I'm going to finish putting it back together, and I'll give you the step-by-step process of that, how that goes. Okay, so now I'm putting the clock back in its place here. It's just a couple of screws. I'll tighten these in place. There's one. And this is going into plastic, so you don't want to overdo it here because it's easy to strip out. So just snug is fine. It's not going anywhere. By the way, I happened to get mine in the right way the first time. If the lights don't come on with these LEDs, what you can do is flip it 180 degrees out and come in, and then it should work. So I've got it in there now. Now I'm going to put this back in, and we'll be good to go. So we'll just hook this back, our power source. Just like that, and these two clips go in the back there, and it comes down, and then it just pops down over these two, so it snaps in place in the back. There we go, no problem here. And two more screws here, one right here, and the other one on the other side. Make sure you have this still connected, and then we're going to go back in with it. And there it is. The clock is back in, and as you can see, it now lights up again. Thanks. Peace out.